Hey guys, it's Kate here. Welcome back to my channel, Happy Healthy Moms. Thanks so much again for tuning in. We have a part 2 video today on the COVID vaccinations, and today we are breaking down the 3 vaccinations on the market and we are comparing them. So stay tuned. Okay guys, let's dive right in. So the 3 vaccines on the market right now are the Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. The Johnson & Johnson is brand new. It just came to the market February 27th. So we're going to break that down too and just compare all 3 of these. So what's the difference? Here we go. All right, so what type of vaccine are these? Okay, so we have your Moderna vaccine and your Pfizer vaccine. I talked about those in the previous video, part 1. Those are your mRNA vaccines. So remember, mRNA vaccines kind of gives your body a small genetic makeup of the virus, so then you can create the antibodies against it. It kind of gives your body a roadmap. It gives a small amount of the genetic material. And no, this mRNA cannot integrate into your own DNA and change your genetic makeup. It cannot do that. So it's just a piece of it to kind of give your body blueprints to fight off the virus. All right, so the Johnson & Johnson, that is in its own category. That's different. That is what is called a viral vector vaccine. So what does that mean? Okay, so it uses a modified version of a virus, a vector. That's what the vector is. It's a modified virus, and it presents that into your cells, and then your cells are able to use that and those instructions from that vector virus to create antibodies against it. So it's like a harmless virus enters your cells, and then it uses the cell's machinery to produce a piece of the virus, and that piece of the virus can protect you against COVID-19 because it's a similar branch of it. So definitely gets a little scientific, a little complicated, but that's the main breakdown. Moderna, Pfizer, mRNA, and Johnson & Johnson is that viral vector vaccine. So Moderna, Pfizer, you're giving the genetic material, and Johnson & Johnson, you're giving a piece of a virus. Not a live virus, cannot give you the virus, so don't get nervous about that, just a piece of a harmless virus. So let's talk about storage of the 3 vaccines. All right, so Moderna, that can be kept from negative 13 degrees to negative 5 degrees Fahrenheit frozen. And then refrigerated temperatures, I think refrigerated temperatures are around 36 to 46 degrees Fahrenheit. It's good for 30 days at that temperature. Once it's out of the fridge and you puncture that vial to give the vaccine, it's good for 6 hours. So you have 6 hours to use that full vial, and there's 10 doses per vial. 6 hours to use all that. After 6 hours, it's expired. You can no longer use it. All right, so Pfizer, that one has to be kept much, much colder. That's the one where the storage struggled a little bit. It has to be kept at negative 112 to negative 76 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's good there for 6 months. They have just came out with new information that is saying the Pfizer is stable for 2 weeks at your standard freezer temperature. So that's brand new. They said it's still stable for 2 weeks, standard freezer temperatures. Before diluting and thawed, it's good in the refrigerator temperatures for 5 days. Once that Pfizer vial is thawed and it's out of the fridge, room temperature, again, it's good for 6 hours. All right, so Johnson & Johnson, that one is a little more basic. After you puncture the vial, it's good in the fridge for 6 hours, and it's good at room temperature for 2 hours, and it's stable in frozen temperatures, I think they said for 2 years. So that one really just has to be kept in the fridge, and once you puncture the vial, you again have 6 hours. So Moderna, fridge for 30 days, Pfizer, freezer temperatures, Johnson & Johnson is good in the fridge. And they're all good for basically 6 hours, like once you puncture the vial. All right, so all 3 of them, the Moderna, the Pfizer, and the Johnson & Johnson, no preservatives, no latex, no eggs, none of those are in any of those vaccines. Let's talk about the efficacy of each one. So Moderna, that one is 94% effective at preventing COVID-19 symptoms. I want to say COVID-19 symptoms because it doesn't prevent you from catching it, unfortunately, but it prevents the symptoms. So 94% effective at preventing symptoms. Pfizer, 95%. So they're pretty much the same, but Pfizer, 95% if you want to be super scientific. So Johnson & Johnson, that one is only 66% effective at preventing symptoms, but they are saying that it is 85% effective at preventing severe illness. So 85% of the time you're not going to have hospitalization type symptoms. So it definitely is less effective than Moderna and Pfizer, but it's still, 66% effective at preventing symptoms. Okay, so doses. All right, so Moderna and Pfizer, still similar. You need 2 doses. Moderna, the doses are 28 days apart. You do have up to 6 weeks. They kind of said that a couple weeks ago. You do have a window of 6 weeks to get that second dose in. Pfizer's 21 days. So Pfizer's a little different, a little closer together. 21 days, so 3 weeks after your first Pfizer, you get your second dose. Johnson & Johnson, again, much simpler, only 1 dose. Again, not as effective though. So just 1 dose with Johnson & Johnson definitely makes the job of the immunizer easier. That's, I think, the biggest struggle right now is just first versus second dose. Anyone that's vaccinating knows that's challenging. So it is nice that there is a one-time vaccine on the market, but it isn't as effective. So that's something that you kind of have to weigh the pros and the cons with. All right, so age groups. So Moderna was tested in age 18 and up, Pfizer age 16 and up, Johnson & Johnson 18 and up. There are studies right now that are occurring where Moderna is testing ages 12 and up. Right now, basically, it's 18 and up. I don't think a lot of places are doing under 18. All right, so let's talk about side effects. Moderna and Pfizer, still kind of same playing field. First shot, you're going to get injection site pain. The second shot, you're going to get the flu-like symptoms. Pfizer does have swollen lymph nodes listed as a side effect. So you're more likely to get swollen lymph nodes with the Pfizer vaccine than Moderna. And Johnson & Johnson, same thing. You're going to get the site reaction and flu-like symptoms. Those are probably going to happen all at once compared to Moderna and Pfizer, where you get the flu-like symptoms mostly at the second shot. So you're probably going to have, with Johnson & Johnson, arm pain, and you're going to feel like you have the flu. I know this is a lot of information I'm throwing at you guys, but I just wanted to break it down a little bit for you. Okay, so let's break down the phase 3 trial really, really quickly. So the Moderna vaccine, they tested people 14 days after getting the shot if they had COVID symptoms or were positive with COVID. Pfizer tested 7 days after. So that's why I think there's a little difference in efficacy between Moderna and Pfizer. They tested people at different days. Johnson & Johnson took a different route. They tested in their phase 3. They looked to see how severe the symptoms were. So that's why their efficacy is a little lower, but they're saying that it's still effective at severe illness, and they categorize severe illness as testing positive for COVID plus 1 other symptom. So that was what they meant by severe illness. All the trials were different, so that's why it's hard to kind of compare the efficacy like apples to apples, because each phase 3 trial was kind of different, especially the Johnson & Johnson. They looked at completely different things. All right, so some new things that have come out right now, because like I said, new information's on the market every single day. Probably by the time this video is released, there's going to be more things out. So they are saying with Johnson & Johnson that there might be a second dose 8 weeks after. Currently in the trials right now, they're not going to have the results of those till May. So even when Johnson & Johnson, there might be a second shot to get that full efficacy, because I know they want to get up to those 90% like Moderna, Pfizer. They're testing boosters right now. I talked in my first video about if you're going to need a booster. We don't really know. So the boosters are also currently being tested. Remember, with these vaccinations, the side effects mean an immune response. So that is almost a good thing. It means your body is creating antibodies against COVID. You're getting that immune reaction, immune response. There have not been any serious long-term side effects reported. That's to date. I know it's fairly new, but I did state in my previous video how side effects are reported to the FDA daily. There are no long-term adverse events as of yet that have been reported. So right now, another update, Pfizer is currently testing in pregnant women. Moderna did animal studies, so they tested their vaccine in pregnant animals, and they found that there was no evidence of the vaccine affecting the fetus at all. So Pfizer's actually running a trial with pregnant women right now, so they should have those results soon. I think they said by April, early May, so that'll be exciting. Recap, I think the biggest difference, Moderna, Pfizer, 2-dose shot, Johnson & Johnson, 1-dose shot, but not as effective. Storage-wise, Pfizer has to be kept colder temperatures. Johnson & Johnson, it's easier storage, easier to ship it places, things like that. But again, Johnson & Johnson not as effective. They all have very similar side effects, so that didn't change. I think people are waiting for just one dose. They want one and done. But just remember that does mean less efficacy. You need to check the site you're at to see what one they're giving, because we don't always have control over what vaccine we get shipped by the state. So if you want a certain one, if you're worried about it, call where you're scheduled or call where you need to be scheduled, and they will tell you what vaccine they're currently giving out. Last thing, this is brand new. You've heard a lot about the AstraZeneca vaccine as well. That's the fourth one that has been talked about. So in the US, AstraZeneca is not currently available. I know in other countries I think it's available, but in the US they did put a hold briefly on the trials. So that was your super quick breakdown of the 3 different vaccines. I hope it helped you guys a little bit. I know it's a lot of mumbo jumbo science information thrown at you. This isn't what I usually do my videos about, but it's just, I felt like it was important to really break down the 3 vaccines for you guys. So I hope that it eased some of your minds, and definitely be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to comment below. I will answer as many as I can. If there's enough of a response and if things change, I'll definitely do an updated video. So I love, bringing you guys the information. I'm right kind of on the front lines of giving the vaccine right now, so I have a lot of the information readily available to me. So I'd be more than happy to share it with you. So definitely let me know any other questions you have. With that being said, I hope everyone out there is staying safe, staying healthy. If you have any questions about the vaccine, be sure to check your health department's website. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, and I will chat with you all later. Bye.